I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader TV, the network for innovators, and I'm speaking with Wil Schroter. He is the founder and CEO of GoBigNetworks, as well as GotCast.com, which he just recently launched, I believe, in November, December. It's fairly new.
Right in October, yep.
Okay. Well, it's, as we can see, online casting for television. Wil, take it away. Why don't you just explain what your new site's about?
Sure. A big part of what we're doing on GotCast is trying to democratize the casting process, actually giving just the average person in America the opportunity to get cast for television. Up until now, the process has been you either get cast through a casting director or more likely an agent, and the only way you're going to get in front of that person is probably if you lived in New York or Los Angeles. But most of television now has moved to what we call reality or non-scripted television. So about 85% of television is game shows, reality shows, hosting opportunities, etc., that don't involve scripted traditional actors. You know, scripted show would be a Lost or a Heroes. But what we're doing is more of, again, the reality and hosting and different kinds of opportunities.
Now, why is this not something that can be easily done on, say, YouTube? Because YouTube is just, and there are a number of people there that are just showcasing their talent, their skills, their, what is it, The Lonely Girl 15 and some other amateurs have actually risen and had their 15 minutes of fame. So can't you do something like that on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube was the start of it all, in that the user-generated content, people started making actually legitimately solid and well-renowned, in some crappy, but you know, user-generated content. And the networks and the casting directors were starting to take notice. However, the stuff that bubbles to the top is just incidental. It could just be a funny video. It could just be somebody that has some talent and is interesting, but isn't necessarily right for a particular part that's being cast for at this time. What we did is we took all that user-generated content and all that talent, started to give it some context.
How big is this business, do you think? I mean, I know the casting companies or the traditional agents are actually moving to other business models, maybe looking for to even buy or be facilitators in introducing small companies to buyers. And so clearly something's happening with their industry. And perhaps it's because sites like yourself, but how big is this market for casting?
There's tens of thousands of castings that happen for your non-scripted talent every year. So you have lots and lots of roles out there. They're actually becoming harder and harder to fill. You wouldn't think so, because you'd think with the advent of a MySpace or a YouTube that more and more people would be able to reach out to casting directors. Casting directors and agents aren't used to using these tools in order to filter and find their talent. Which is where GotCast came in. We needed something that was more deliberate, because we know the talent's out there. We know the demand is far bigger than ever. There's over 400 active networks right now that need content for their 24-hour schedules. And so the demand is enormous. But the supply, which is out there, is hard to wrap their arms around.
So your model is to go to sort of Ripe TV or different networks and help them find
Absolutely. Our customer is the casting director, potentially an agent or a producer for a particular show that's looking for a certain type of talent for a certain show. But then again, it's typically not scripted. There's nothing to prevent us from hiring scripted talent, you know, traditional actors, etc. But this was just a really burning desire.
So that's good. That's an incentive to draw users and or members, and you have about 10,000 now. How have you been going out there and finding them?
A lot of the users have found us, but we've been out there on Facebook and MySpace, on Craigslist, getting the jobs out there, looking for people who already had big networks of friends and were actively trying to promote themselves.
So you're creating a MySpace page, or
absolutely.
A page?
Yeah, we have a MySpace.com/GotCast page, which has pulled people in, and people who want to become famous, want to get on TV, are actively seeking this information out. So they're looking for castings that are available.
And the business model?
We make money, presumably, in a few ways. Mind you, we're only a few months into it, so we'll find out. One way is through advertising, so we've got a new sponsor that'll just join the site actually in a week. And we've had some sponsors for some of our other castings where they'll have all their collateral items on all the different videos that get posted and the widgets that get posted on MySpace and Facebook and such. We have a premium membership. We found that a lot of people are actually using this as an employment tool where they're trying to actively get cast. So we're going to give them more opportunities to have expanded profiles and to be able to have be able to do multiple castings at once so they can be in a few castings at the same time, and to try to give them a little more flexibility to use it as kind of an employment tool.
What is this a year from now or 2 years from now?
The idea is to have somewhere between 500 to 1,000 active castings in a year, not at a given time, because there's only so many that'll fit our profile. And ultimately, it's to make people famous, which is, it sounds kind of like a lofty goal, but it's kind of cool. I mean, we've already had people get cast on the site that would have never had an opportunity like this, and all of a sudden they're on TV.
I mean, it looks like the site can pretty much run by itself or run pretty lean, and you can reach a point where you're profitable. You probably don't need to get any money in the future. You probably run this pretty lean. So how much money have you raised to launch this, and do you really need any outside money?
We really don't. We've taken in and put in ourselves about $1 million, which we've hardly used, frankly, any of that cash. And we'll need more money ultimately when we want to start doing a very strong national campaign. If we want to start tying it into existing television or movie-style promotions, we'll need more cash at that point. But for the time being, it's pretty self-perpetuating.
Okay. And last question, GoBigNetwork, that's another company of yours. That's what, about 18 months old right now?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a bit like a funding site. It looks like a matchmaking site for entrepreneurs and investors. Is that it, or is there more to it, and how do you make money? Okay.
GoBig is the goal of GoBig is to build a community for entrepreneurs where they can find funding, recruit talent, and get advice. And so to do that, what we do is we allow people to create profiles of themselves, to put a profile of their business, and basically say, what are we looking for? I'm looking for funding, I'm looking to hire talent, and then we connect them online and match them with other people that are either looking to join a startup, invest in startups, etc. It's really just matchmaking for entrepreneurs. The revenue model's pretty straightforward. We make money from people that pay to contact other members of the site. So you could go on the site and say, I'm looking for a Java developer that's willing to work for equity. And if you find somebody on the site, you would pay a subscription fee in order to contact them. Another way is through a classified service where people go online and they just write a classified like you do on Craigslist or eBay or anything else like that, and they pay for that service. And then the third way is when we connect people to other types of services that they need. So for example, if you needed a web developer, you'd say, I'm looking for a web development shop, connect me with potential service providers that would that'd be interested in helping me. And we sell that lead to the service providers who then help you out.
And you have pretty good network. Can you share it with us? Your revenue?
Oh, sure. The company right now has over 100,000 startups that are on the site. We actually don't disclose our revenues, but it's doing extremely well.
But you have some, and you're profitable as well.
Yeah, the site's extremely profitable.
Okay. And so no need for funding here because you have money.
We self-funded the site.
But you've been a serial entrepreneur, so what's the exit strategy for GoBigNetwork?
For GoBig, it's the small business space. What we have a handle on, and I feel very good about this, is when startups come to our site, they tell us everything that they need. They're making all of their first decisions. So they're going on the site and saying, I'm about to start a company. They're going to make the most important decisions ever. Where do I get funded? What servers do I set up? What's my VoIP service that I'm using? They tell us everything about their business, and we're becoming a gateway for helping find those services, which is extremely valuable to a lot of small business providers and people that want to attack the small business consumer.
It's a hot market.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
Will, thank you for sharing your stories about GoBigNetwork and GotCast.com, and good luck with those two ventures.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Wil Schroter. He is the founder and CEO of two pretty hot companies. I'm Bambi Francisco.